Hey YouTube, thanks for tuning in. So today we're going to talk about the full self-driving beta 10.9 release notes that just dropped yesterday. I did want to take a moment to thank all of my new subscribers. We pushed past 150 and we're well on our way to that goal of 1,000 subscribers. So I thank you. Please like this video, comment down below, subscribe to my channel, and then hit the bell icon for notifications when I make new videos. Obviously, I'm going to be making a video of full self-driving beta 10.9 driving as soon as I'm able to get the update, probably sometime Tuesday morning if history is anything to go off of. So let's dive into the release notes. I did want to skip ahead and just go to the third bullet point first. So this is the one I'm most excited about. Made unprotected left turns across oncoming lanes more natural by proceeding straight into intersection while yielding before initiating the turn. So if you've watched a lot of my videos, you know the biggest thing that frustrates me is that when trying to make left unprotected turns in Chicago, it will wait at the line and then try to turn left from the line, and it never gets the chance to, and then the light turns red, it gets stuck at the intersection. And even when it does and is able to, and it's clear, it'll take that turn. The trajectory is not good enough because it's turning left immediately and then it has to swerve into its own lane versus the oncoming traffic lane. So what Chicago drivers do instead is to drive forward with their wheels straight, move into the intersection. Once you're in the intersection, you wait for oncoming traffic to clear, and then you're able to complete the left turn into the proper lane without any sort of swerving. The other thing is many of our lights don't have green arrows, so we have to get into the intersection, and then if there's no chance to go when it's green, the light turns red, and then you're allowed to clear the intersection and complete the left-hand turn. So full self-driving beta basically isn't aggressive enough. It doesn't move into the intersection. What happens is you get stuck and repeat a light cycle because the system can't do that yet. So this one should really increase the number of zero disengagement drives that I'm able to do, and I'm really excited to share that with all of you. So really exciting stuff. And I think a lot of what Elon talked about on Twitter seems to have made it somewhat to a degree in the 10.9 version. And then obviously we're going to get the version 11 sometime next month, probably, or maybe in beginning of March. And that version 11 is going to be the full stack where all of the AI, all of the 8 camera neural nets, everything's going to be running the same on city streets and then on highways. So looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a really big game changer. So let's back up to that first point and kind of I'm going to read through it and explain what that means. Improved intersection extents, so the edges of things, and right-of-way assignment, so who can go, who can't, by updating the modeling of intersection areas from dense rasters to sparse instances. So they're interpreting what's happening in intersections and improving that from kind of a little bit of sparse information here and there to getting, or from dense rasters, so like lots of information, but kind of spread out all over, to very sparse instances. So very sparse meaning very kind of buckled in, and that's specifically where that object is. So they've done this by increasing the intersection region of the index over union by 4.2%. So essentially what a human labeler goes in and says, this is a human, this is a car, this is a light pole, and then the neural net's saying this is a human, car, and light pole. That area where they're overlapping and matching has improved by quite a bit. And then the sparse intersection network is basically an autoregressive architecture, meaning it's able to loop back upon itself and refine what it's deeming to be the object, and getting sparse, meaning it's a smaller area, so it's more specific to that object. And then it's running with low latency on this. There's a specialized TRIP computer, which is a neural net processing chip that's inside the full self-driving computer, and it's got really low latency. It's getting all that information, and it's specifically in intersections doing all of this work to really help improve the system when you need it most, which truly is intersections. That's the highest likelihood for crash. So all of this to say, it's getting better at designating which objects are which, and less bleed over of one object into the other, and it's discreetly saying that is car, that's where it is. Very exciting. Let's go on to the second point. Upgraded generalized static object networks, so objects that aren't moving, to use 10-bit photon count streams rather than 8-bit image signal processing tone mapped images by adding this 10-bit interface support to the AI compiler stack. What does that mean? So what's been happening so far is full self-driving has been compiling images like we see. So when you see a video image and it looks like, a normal photo, that's actually a processed photo to make it look more appeasing to human eyes. And when they process that image, they get it down, they kind of compress it, it's now 8-bit. Well, the sensor of the camera is actually picking up all the photons that are coming into the system in a much higher 10-bit stream, meaning there's a lot more information to be gleaned. And there's processing time that takes from going from that 10-bit image to the 8-bit processed image, where you then can start the processing of that image. Instead, now we're taking that raw data that's coming into the sensor and processing it immediately. So it's decreasing the latency. So the overall architecture of the systems running on the full stack of the full self-driving computer have changed, both in the first bullet point and in this bullet point, to decrease latency. So it looks like it's getting 1.7% better at detecting those static objects and then remembering the positions or that they were a static object by about 4%. Great stuff. We'll skip over that third bullet point, already talked about it. Fifth bullet point, it improved lane preference and topology estimation by 1.2%. So what's topology? Topography is kind of like the surface, the bumpy surface kind of the plane, and is more like geographically related. Topology is kind of the whole scene and how objects relate to each other within that scene. So basically the lay of the land. So it's getting better at about 1.2% and getting better at detecting navigation clues. So it'll be interesting to see, does that mean it's getting better at detecting turn lanes? Is it using signs now to determine some of the way it needs to move about through the scene? I'm excited to see how this translates over to the driving experience. Next bullet point, improve short deadline changes of lanes with better modeling of necessary deceleration for maneuvers beyond the lane change. So if you use full self-driving a lot, you'll know that it will make the appropriate aggressive lane change, but then it will probably speed up to an inappropriate degree, because you can see as a driver, you already kind of knew, if I take this lane change, there's going to be that car, I'm going to have to kind of get back in the next lane and slow down. But instead the car will kind of speed up and be more aggressive, because like, hey, I'm changing lanes around this car, I'm going to be aggressive. And then it's like starting and stopping and jerking. And so I'm hoping to see this essentially just get to a lot better, smooth, multi-armed maneuvers, especially when passing around stalled or stopped traffic. So excited to see that one. Improving the future path for objects not confined to lane geometry by better modeling of their kinematics. Kinematics is the way they move. So it's going to get better at things that aren't in the road, how they're moving. Are they going to actually become obstructions in the road or not? So, you'll have sometimes pedestrians stopped at the very edge of the road, like 2 inches from the road, but still in the still on the sidewalk, standing there waiting for the light to change. And the car will think they're going to jut into the intersection. But as a human, we know they're fully stopped. They've got their weight, not engaging to move forward, and we know that it's safe to proceed. The car doesn't know that. So I think this will help, hopefully, for situations like that, where it knows, okay, that human's stopped, it's not starting to move, and they're not moving into the road. That will really help with some of these phantom brakes. Made launches from stop more calm when there is an imminent slowdown nearby. That's pretty self-explanatory. So instead of getting a green light to rapidly accelerate forward, even though there's a stoplight 150 feet away, a stop sign 150 feet away, most drivers would, instead of speeding up to 32 miles an hour and then slamming on the brakes to stop, maybe you just accelerate to 15, and then from 15 you slow to a nice easy stop. That's what we're hoping to see here. And then there's final bullet point, improved gap selection when yielding to a stream of oncoming cars on narrow roads. So when a car's coming this way and you're going this way, and it's maybe a country road and there's only enough room for one car to get by, being able to negotiate that better and determine whose turn it is next and when you can go, when you can't, that's going to get better. And it's already doing pretty well at that. So this will be interesting to see. That's all that we have on the release notes. I think it's all really exciting stuff. Like I said, it seems like a lot of what Elon mentioned on Twitter is being pulled forward as kind of like a first iteration in this release. Really exciting to see, it doing better with intersections, left-hand turns for sure, unprotected left turns, getting better at recognizing static objects, getting better at objects that do move, recognizing that they're not coming into the road or that they are coming into the road, better lay of the land, better way of modeling around cars and multiple maneuvers and probably the comfort of those things, making it more comfortable when going from starting to stopping repeatedly, and then that better gap selection. So awesome stuff here. I will be making sure to upload and create a full self-driving beta 10.9 video as soon as I'm able. I'm going to run a test loop that I've got in Chicago. It's got roundabouts, stop signs, city side streets, busy city streets, left arrow turns. It's got underpasses. It's got right turns. It's got curved roads. It's got a lot of stuff in there. So excited to see how 10.9 performs on that. And then I'll also probably just do some one-off random drives around town in Chicago to see how it's doing overall. And I'm looking forward to sharing that with all of you. Thank you for listening again. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and be on the lookout for more updates. Thanks again. Take care. And everyone have an awesome Martin Luther King Jr. Day. What an inspiration, amazing human being. Do yourself a favor, just go through and read some of the quotes. This man was a beautiful orator. He was taken from us well before when he shouldn't have been. And he's a really uplifting individual and someone that we should all strive to be more like. So have a great one. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.